safe to come out? Safe? Okay. Okay. Hi. Just, yeah. It's, shh. Okay. All right. Okay. It's safe to come out now. All right. Wow. What a morning. What a morning. I have my coffee. I don't know. I just don't know anymore. And I'm going to get hit by the sun. I'm going to get hit by the sun. So at least there's some light in the life. Light in the whatever. Yeah, this is just the way it always is with me because I always want to have these conversations early in the morning, right as the sun is hitting my face, but whatever. So, uh, I'm frustrated. I'm really, really frustrated. You know, let me put the disclaimers out. I'm not a Trump supporter. I am not an Elon Musk supporter per se. I don't really have an opinion about Elon Musk. I don't have an opinion about a lot of. Well, I have a lot of opinions, but I don't really have an opinion about who he is. I don't worship him. I don't, you know, and I don't like Trump for obvious reasons. Sorry. But I had some hope. Like, I've never been, sorry, my nose is itchy. I have never been a real big fan of Twitter. Okay. Sorry. It's one of those mornings. I've never been a fan of Twitter. I don't like Twitter. And the reason why is because I've always seen it as a platform that is very shallow and short, provides a lot of stuff for people who have short attention spans. Now, I have somewhat of a short attention span, but I'm aware that I do. I have ADHD, obviously, and so I can get distracted by stuff. So, knowing this, I know that I have to work extra hard in order to cultivate an attention span and how I have to kind of slow down the way the words that I choose. I've been criticized for just kind of bleh all over social media on Facebook, etc. I have a lot of opinions about things, and they're not very well written. I mean, I'm not going to get a Nobel Prize for literature or anything like that for my Facebook posts, and I can be very long-winded. That being said, I at least try. That's more than I can say for a lot of people, quite frankly. One of my favorite channels and movies that I had discovered over the past several years was a channel on YouTube called Rebel Wisdom. And I like their content because they really work hard to promote conversations about important subjects, primarily on how they call it sense making, and how we, as a civilization, talk to each other, how we understand each other, and the effort that we put into that so we can actually have a healthy civilization. One of the first videos that I saw was the one on Jordan Peterson, and it was called The Glitch in the Matrix. And if you can find it, I highly recommend watching that. I will put a caveat. Go and watch the actual interview with Jordan Peterson and Kathy Newman on the BBC first, and then watch the documentary A Glitch in the Matrix. because that documentary refers to that interview, and it's good to kind of have an understanding of what the context of this documentary is. Okay. Again, forget what you think you know about Jordan Peterson. Forget who Jordan Peterson maybe is now, but keep an open mind and just take in the content for what it is. And the reason I, again, emphasize that, because that is basically what Rebel Wisdom talks about. In order to understand each other, we need to be able to have an open mind instead of automatically jumping to, and I will admit I am guilty of this, so don't look at me as being perfect, but I know that I do this, okay? You need, in order for us to be able to come together and understand each other, we need to stop making knee-jerk assumptions about each other. We need to understand how logical fallacies are employed in our thought and in our conversations that we have each other, we're having with each other on the internet. And we're not doing that. And I have stated that I wish someone would come up with a really, really good algorithm or AI program or something that, instead of shadow banning and censoring people based on the content of, oh, you're talking about, or you're not allowed to post this, or even, oh, this came from the wrong website or the wrong part of the internet, or it mentions so and so. Actually look at the content and how people are actually having conversations. So it would identify logical fallacies such as ad hominem attacks and straw man fallacies. And not just merely identifying them, or even identifying them and saying, oh, flagging, oh, this tweet or this post engages in ad hominem attacks, so we're going to suppress it. Okay. While certainly good quality conversations and good quality arguments should be pushed higher up so more people see them, we also need to be doing, at the same time, we need to be teaching people how to have these. We need to be cultivating an atmosphere where people can actually be having these conversations and encouraging these kinds of conversations. We need to slow our conversations down, get rid of the Twitterverse, because Twitter is not going to help. We are running around so quickly. And again, I'm guilty of this, but I'm aware I do this, because we all do this. We all do this, okay? Unless you're a Zen master, you're going to do this, right? We're pushed to be very rapid and jump to conclusions. We want to get our, and the thing is that social media, and especially Twitter, is designed to do that. Okay, is designed to create rapid, you like, let's bam 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 bam, instead of actually slowing us down and going, that's really interesting what you say, but have you thought about this? It doesn't cultivate those kinds of quality conversations. It is just, oh, let me get my voice out there. Let me get my voice this. And again, for the ninth time or whatever, I will say, yes, I can be guilty of this. But I'm also aware that social media, especially Twitter, and I think Twitter is like the worst culprit, has promoted this idea that we've got to, like, we've got this rapid fire, everything has to be new, everything has to be like newsworthy. Oh my God, bum, 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 bum. And everything is sensationalistic. Oh my God, look at this tweet, look at this, look at that. And people just say stupid things because they're forced to condense it into however many characters they're supposed to do, instead of actually cultivating, hey, wow, let's actually think about this and have a bit more nuance in our conversations and in our posts. We don't have social media that cultivates that. People are like, well, but people don't have the time or the patience. I said, yeah, exactly. And that's what the problem is. So whose fault is that? You know, just sit there and say, well, we don't have the time to do that. Well, why don't we have the time to do that? Look at the way our world is right now, folks. Look at what all this has cultivated. Look at what Twitter has cultivated. Is this what we want? So, we have to make a conscious choice and say, wait a minute, this isn't the direction we want to go. Let's go and do this direction. But we choose not to. We make that choice. We make the choice to go, oh, well, I just, I don't have time for this. And I've been guilty of that too, because I get frustrated. Yeah, I have to pay bills. I've got to, run around and get cat litter and run errands and go to a job and everything like that, and we don't want to sit down and really look at hard conversations. And it's very easy to say, well, I don't have time for that, or I'm not interested in that. And why are you forcing me to look at that? Some things we need to look at. And I know, like, I don't watch the news. I don't watch mainstream news anymore, because that's a waste of my time and how I choose to ingest news around the world. I'm very bad about, I'll just go to my local channel or go to the AP Newswire and just kind of like thumb through just a general overview about what's going on in the world. Sometimes something might catch my eye and I'll read a little bit more into it. And it's always a balancing act about being aware of what is going on in the world and understanding that might be propaganda, that might be biased. What am I looking into? I mean, and it's hard. It's very hard. There's no way that we can know everything about the world and everything that's going on in the world. So we do have to make choices, and we might have to surgically cultivate certain avenues. We may want to bury ourselves into distractions and hobbies all the time, but that isn't healthy. We need to have a balance. We need to be able to say, I am going to devote this amount of my time to look at things that may challenge me, may inform me, understand the world around me, have good conversations with people. And then this part of my day will be cultivated to self-care and doing funny, silly, distracting things. But we do need to make time to cultivate, because we're talking about civilization. We're talking about the need to have these conversations in order to advance civilization to a healthier place. And we're not there. We're digressing. And it's very unfortunate that this is happening. I was just on a certain consumer product that's very, oh, I won't name them, but they basically have a lot of sales for home good kind of things. I'll put it that way. And they, have rapid sales, and they produce a kind of product that a lot of, namely women, like to buy a lot of and collect. Even though they don't need to collect them, they just choose to collect them because this company has so many varieties of these things that these women are just rabidly just, oh my God, I've got to get 100 of them. Not, oh, let me get one or two for my home. They have to get 100 of them. And then they have organizational things for these items, right? I know I'm being particularly vague, and this one woman complains because this company was having a sale and the website broke down. and she was flipping out and saying, "Oh my God, I'm missing out on the sale," and da 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 da, and you know, and she's like, "I just can't believe this company is doing this to me. This is how I get treated by this company," and it's just I've worked in retail, okay, and we all talk about the Karen phenomena in our society, and people want to blame government for the creation of Karens, like, but it really is capitalism and consumerism that has created this Karen phenomena, this level of entitlement and self-righteousness about that they are a consumer and the customer is always right. And it's that it's that cultivation within corporations that have created these monsters, you know. And then we sit there and we're like, we wonder why our society is the way it is. Well, look at who's cultivating these people. Look at the structures and yes, to a degree, yeah, you're right. Government and public schools, at times can perhaps do that too. And we do need to be, religion does, government does, schools do, but corporations and marketing and stores and news media, all of these institutions are creating monsters, in my view. We're not choosing to cultivate positive, healthy, self aware individuals. And it gets harder and harder and harder, and especially on this platform, to be able to I have a whole selection of really good content providers that I have selected and I've checked off the bell to be subscribed to them so I can get their new content. And I've noticed that there's these subtle shifts going on in how the content on this platform is being presented to me. And I'm not seeing the content that I actually said, I want to look at more of this content. Even though I checked the bell off and said, yes, please give me the updated information, give me the updated content of these providers. No, I still am increasingly getting vapid, crappy, popular stuff. And I'm like, I've just noticed this. I'm like, wait a minute, where are all my subscriptions? Where's all the content? So there's these companies that were like, they don't like the fact that I've selected to watch this content provider or this content provider. They're like, no, we're going to show you another Kanye West tweet or another Kardashian video or another makeup tutorial or whatever. And I'm like, but I wanted to hear more about Rebel Wisdom, for instance, and I had selected them. It's checked off, but I never see new content from them in my feed. It's always the vapid popular stuff that I'm like, and it's stuff that I haven't even checked off. It's just this is the stuff everybody's looking at. This is the stuff we're wanting to show you, not the stuff that you wanted to see. So it's so frustrating. And I know people go, well, get off of social media. Well, okay, fine. But at the same time, I can't have conversations with anybody anymore. I mean, I try sharing interesting articles that I find that I want to share and have a conversation with a friend about, and they don't want to look at it. They're like, I don't want to hear this. Like, I don't want to know about it. I don't care. This is a waste of my time. I don't like this format, all that other kind of stuff. And it's really, I don't know. Like, I mean, how are we supposed to have conversations? Like, people's like, well, I don't really want to know about this stuff. I just, I'm fine with knowing about like what you're going. I mean, my life isn't all that. Yeah, I take care of cats and I go to a job every day. But the big ideas that we want to have, we're not allowed to talk about because they're so supercharged anymore. And that people just are like, nope, I'm going to stay in my bubble and I'm not going to challenge what I think. And I don't want to have these conversations because they're so destructive to our relationship. And I get it. But we're now so immune, like we just don't want to look at anything. And we are firmly in their camps. And I say what you want about Elon Musk. And again, I don't really have that strong of an opinion. I mean, I'm disappointed with him and the direction that he's taken with Twitter. And he's kind of a goofball, actually. He's just kind of like, what are you doing? But I will say that his original quote about where he felt about Twitter and that we are so divided as a society, that is a true quote. He said that, we're very divided, we're very tribalistic, and that we're so extreme on either end that we're not having healthy conversations. And I looked at that quote and I was like, well, that's encouraging. I mean, I was trying to take that quote at face value and saying, well, maybe there's some promise here. Unfortunately, he's totally proving me wrong. Like, I mean, the whole reinstatement of Trump, he reinstated Jordan Peterson, which was valid because Jordan Peterson, even though if you disagree with him, is a rational person who can have rational, intelligent conversations. Trump can't. There's a lot of people on Twitter who like Twitter because it is a forum that they can work with. They're not going to sit down and have a really good conversation. They're just wanting to go blah 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 blah. That's why you've got tweet. And it's just like chattering noise. Jordan Peterson and others like Eric Weinstein and his brother Brett Weinstein and some others, even though some of them were on the more conservative side, a few years ago were part of what was called the intellectual dark web. And they were talking about long form conversations. And Rebel Media was part of this conversation. And it was kind of a short-lived phenomena. And people have gone, what happened to that? Like, what happened to that whole thing? And I think it's because social media and the media in general, the mainstream media, has basically killed it because they know that's what they had to do. There was a New York Times article basically disparaging it and saying, oh my God, this is extreme views, which it isn't. But if you talk about anything that's outside of official narratives, you're silenced, and people are pissed about that. Understandably, I'm pissed about it, and I'm liberal. But now, I've gotten into fights with fellow liberals over issues that we shouldn't be fighting about. I mean, if I have information that may affect your health or whatever, we can't even have a conversation about it. It's just politicized, which is ridiculous. It's an absolute ridiculous situation. And I don't know. I really think that conversation is dead. It really is. Sorry, I'm like trying to get out of the sun. I really think that conversation is dead because, I don't get any, I'm sure that, I looked back on my Facebook feed and I'd missed a lot of these, that Facebook had flagged a lot of the stuff that I had posted. And so I think I'm totally effectively buried. Like, I think I've been shadow banned on Facebook, and I only have like 21 followers. Like, I only have 21 friends that I'm on Facebook. I completely culled my Facebook social network for personal reasons, and I started to try and rebuild it back. But, people don't, I don't have an audience here, even, people don't listen to me. I mean, look at me. I'm like, this is like low level stuff. And I'm like trying to, stay out of the sun. And I don't have fancy backgrounds or fancy anything. I'm just someone talking, nobody wants to listen to that. Right. Nobody cares. People like, oh, what, why is your opinion more important than anybody else? Who are you? Do you have a PhD behind your name? Like, no, but I have a master's. I have a master's in library science. I'm an intelligent individual. I have an undergraduate degree in communications. Ironically, I did my senior thesis on the predecessor of the internet, and I had hoped that the internet held so much promise to allow a new vehicle in order to be able to have these conversations, but it's actually been devastating and murdered it. we're not we're not more informed. We're less informed. We're not more inclusive and more interested in having these good quality conversations. We're less. We're very divided. We're very narcissistic and very, this person's over there and this person's over there, and and when you and the media is to blame on this, because now that Elon Musk has, and yes, I posted a meme on my Twitter feed because it was funny. I mean, but I don't do that chronically. I just needed a little bit of event outlet. But Elon Musk reinstates Trump, and for some insane reason, I don't even know, like the media is going to now do what they did before, and they're going to amplify every stupid thing that comes out of that man's mouth. And so they're to blame. You know why they do it? Because it's money. They get likes, they get money, they get hits, they get viewership. It's the same old stuff. We haven't learned anything. We don't have any self-discipline about how, like, wow, I need to improve myself. I need to improve the level of my intelligence and my information. And wow, do I engage in bad activities? How can I improve myself? How can I improve my self-discipline and my self-awareness? We don't take those actions. And I know that sounds very strident in my view, but it's a challenge. By all means, prove me wrong. By all means. But incredibly, I'm constantly disappointed. And it's really unfortunate. And I've done the work. I'm not perfect. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I make a lot of mistakes, but at least I try, at least I make an effort to become informed about things. I try to have an open mind. I try to cultivate healthy conversations. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes, as we all do, but at least I try. And at least I continue to pick myself back up again and try to model good, positive conversation, um, and thoughtfulness. And unfortunately, I don't see other people doing that enough. We're so divided. I don't even know how to communicate with friends anymore. I don't know how they're mostly receptive. I even try and text people, and I don't get any information back from them. It's just people just ignore me. And it's really unfortunate, that we're just so, you can post a cat meme or something and someone will laugh, but you try and have a healthy conversation about something, you know, whatever. I mean, people would rather bitch and complain about the fact that their favorite retail brand website is screwed up and that they're not getting their, buy three, get one free sale kind of stuff, so they can continue their insane consumeristic frenzy of collecting things that they'll never be able to use in their lifetime. But that is more important than cultivating other areas of our conversation. I don't know what to say. I really don't. And I'm getting tired of leaning down to get out of the sun. The sun keeps lowering. So, with that, I will take my ugly face with no makeup on, off the conversation or off the YouTubes. And just hopefully that's some food for thought for you. And if you like it, I haven't really been saying, hey, if you like it, subscribe and check the bell for more thing. Obviously, I guess I'll have to say that. Please check the bell and subscribe if you want more of this kind of conversation. Um, but, I don't know if anybody will do that. So I've just been like, okay, well, this is just for me. If someone happens to stumble upon it, okay. Anyway, thanks a lot for joining me, and I hope you have a nice weekend and just, take some of my thoughts and think about them a little bit. Alrighty, let me see, I gotta end stream. All right, bye.